about this. We're very excited about this presentation today of what is a mentor and talking about mentoring, our mentoring program, the C.L.I.M.B program. Among our speakers, we have Liz England and Julie Lake, who are based in the U.S. We have Christine Coombe from Dubai. We have Weiyu Zhang from Singapore. And with our tech support, we have Gulchera from Tajikistan. So we have a great international group. And among our attendees, we have many as well. From all parts of the globe. So thank you so much for attending. We have a full schedule today, so I am not going to talk long. I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Liz England, who will talk to you a little bit, do some introductions, and away we go. So thanks, Liz.
Thank you, Linda, all the way from Arizona, very early in the morning. We have people coming in every minute now. I'm seeing another pop-up, but I'm going to ignore that because Gulya is carefully and quickly managing our waiting room. Thank you all for coming today. I'm Liz England, the founder of the TESOL International Association Career Path Development Professional Learning Network. And I'm here this morning in Wisconsin, where we have a blizzard with a lot of snow and a lot of schools are closed. And my 3-year-old grandson, I can hear him upstairs. I'm in the bottom of the house, so I have quiet here for our session. Wherever you are on the planet, I am sure that there is a story to be told about your weather, about your work. There was some music. I hope to hear those stories in the future. Today, we're focused very squarely on a topic that is so central to the mission of the TESOL CPD PLN. Our mission is to support teachers. And here comes Okon Efyong. I need to make a shout out to Amira Salama, who's with us in the back of a taxi in Cairo, I think. I hope not driving in a car, but she's somewhere in a car in Cairo. Amira was one of the founding leadership team of our team too, and helped us a lot. The real founder of this program is a guy called Mick King, whom some in the Middle East and North Africa, you know his name. Mick works in Doha. Good morning, Okon Efyong.
Hi, Liz.
Works in with Okon actually in Doha, and Mick is with me. We had a wonderful experience. It took us about 3 months to create the C.L.I.M.B program. And I'm going to provide a very brief introduction, after which you're going to hear from several mentors on our team. There's Lin Feng looking very worried. Lin, you okay?
I'm okay. Thank you for asking. Multitasking. I saw something.
Okay. Okay. So I would love to spend a long time, as we do in our leadership team meetings. We build a community and we start our meetings with long conversations about our lives, whether it's our bodies or our minds or our souls. Everybody talks, but we don't have time for that today. So I'm going to zip right into my very brief introduction, and then we're going to move to the presentations of experienced mentors and some mentees who are here as well. Amira, please jump in anytime. And that goes for you, Linda and Gulya. All of us have stories to tell. Weiyu is the moderator of our program for mentors called C.L.I.M.B. And she's here too, and she's going to be presenting some statistics. And Rezwan is here from Arizona via Bangladesh. Yay, I'm another member of our team. Okay, I'm going to share my screen and show you a very brief kind of background story of our group. So you already saw this thing, you know this slide. And by the way, if you have a question, just pop it into the chat. I see chat. Can somebody monitor? Gulya, can you monitor that chat and make sure we answer everyone's questions? Thank you for saying hello. So the C.L.I.M.B program is a TESOL mentoring program, and TESOL meaning the TESOL International Association. I don't think this is going to work, but I'm going to try it anyway. This is our website, and it describes the C.L.I.M.B program, but you can copy down the URL if you want. I'm not going to go through the website. We have a website, and that website describes this program in detail. C.L.I.M.B is a TESOL mentoring program that has 5 letters because we couldn't agree on one word. So we use 5 letters to make the word climb. And we love that because climb, oops, we need to admit somebody, there we go. Climb means so many things, really. Mentoring is not one concept. And I have been doing some research recently because in Portland, Oregon in March, I'm going to join a group to talk about coaching, which is not mentoring. But I'm learning so much. As I learn about coaching, I'm also learning about mentoring. And I'm going to talk to you very briefly, though, about our program, which is not coaching, it's mentoring in TESOL CPD. It's been a very successful program, and Weiyu is part of the reason. She's going to talk to you a little bit about it. Mick King, as I mentioned, and I are the kind of the originators, our fabulous leadership team, including Charlene Castellino, who's no longer on our team. She's retired, as TESOLers do. So Charlene was the organizer prior to Weiyu. She still kind of consults with Weiyu as needed because all of us are volunteers. So we need each other's help when we have issues that we need to deal with. So I'd like to begin with a definition of what we are not. A C.L.I.M.B mentor is not a teacher. For me, and this is sort of, I didn't put the references to the literature, but teachers demonstrate and show. Trainers, sometimes we call each other trainers. Have you seen that word often used to describe TESOL professionals? Trainers are people who more or less drag and coax. And you can disagree with this, by the way. This is just a starting place for us to consider. And coaches transport people. They transport people from one place to another. But coaches and trainers and teachers are not C.L.I.M.B mentors. C.L.I.M.B mentors are different. Here comes somebody else. C.L.I.M.B mentors, and I've written a definition here to kind of guide our conversation as Julie and Weiyu and Linda talk about their experiences. I'm going to chime in with mine too, but my introduction should suffice. So we're professional volunteers. It's very important for you to know that we don't get paid and we don't take, there's no money involved. This is a professional service activity for extraordinary volunteers. Christine, Weiyu, Linda, and Julie are all volunteer professionals. They share their knowledge and they share their experience with mentees, and they help those mentees to grow. Our focus today is on mentors, not mentees. I think we may have a technical glitch here. And I'm done, I think. I'm going to move us now to the next. There's somebody, okay. I'm looking at the waiting room because it's full. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing my screen and we're going to move now to our next presenter. Linda, over to you, hon.
All right. Thank you so much, Liz, for that great introduction. And so now we're going to introduce dear Weiyu. Weiyu Zhang is the person who is the manager for our TESOL C.L.I.M.B program, and she's got a lot of information to give to you and tell us about her experiences as well. So Weiyu, over to you.
Hi everyone. Thank you, Linda, for the introduction. And hi everyone. Thank you so much for attending this session. I saw a lot of current C.L.I.M.B mentors and mentees here. Welcome all of you, and I hope that you will find the C.L.I.M.B program a rewarding journey. Okay, so my name is Weiyu Zhang. I'm a PhD candidate from Nanyang Technological University in Singapore. I'm currently managing the C.L.I.M.B mentorship program, and next I will give you a very brief overview of this program. So the C.L.I.M.B mentorship program was established in 2020. It serves as a bridge for TESOL professionals around the world to connect and work together to develop our career paths. So the program is completely free of charge because, as Liz mentioned, all of our mentors are volunteers. So every year, based on the information our participants provided in the application form, we match mentors and mentees. And our mentors and mentees usually meet online every month or every other month for a period of 6 months. And our program is mentee-driven. So the mentees are expected to take control of the whole process. You need to set your own goals, actively reach out to your mentors, and make sure your meetings are arranged according to the timeline. So under the mentorship of our amazing C.L.I.M.B mentors, our mentees have achieved amazing things. For example, improving their teaching, getting accepted into graduate programs, and presenting at conferences, sometimes with their mentors, and also many other achievements too. So if you want to know more about our program, you can visit our C.L.I.M.B page. Okay, here is the link, and here you can check our program guidelines, and you can also watch some YouTube videos where our mentors and mentees share their C.L.I.M.B journey. Okay, for our current participants, you can also find the C.L.I.M.B meeting record here. Please remember to fill in the form after each of your meetings. So these are some of the videos, okay, featuring our mentors and mentees to showcase the benefits of the C.L.I.M.B program from different perspectives. You can access these videos through the C.L.I.M.B page. And we welcome all of you to share with us your own C.L.I.M.B journey. You can send us videos, pictures, words, or join our webinar to talk about your experience. By sharing your journey, you can help inspire others and demonstrate the impact of C.L.I.M.B on your professional development. We hope to let more CPD members know about the program and benefit from it. So now for the current round of C.L.I.M.B, we have 21 mentors and 27 mentees from all around the world. I've created a word cloud to showcase the geographic location of our mentors and mentees. Nice. And this year, we have many participants from US, Pakistan, India, Egypt, and other countries. So some mentors are working with 2 or even 3 mentees. In the past, we have received feedback from our mentees saying that they enjoy the experience of having a co-mentee. So we are now experimenting this. So if you are paired with a co-mentee, please let us know how you like it, and you can give us the feedback when filling the meeting record. So your feedback will help us improve the program. As you can see here, the participants are quite diverse. Okay, we have teachers, teacher educators, curriculum developers, lecturers, professors, and also graduate students. Their teaching context, the students they teach, and also the year of teaching in TESOL are also very different. So this diversity will definitely enrich our program. Our participants will be able to share their unique perspectives and insights. Some of the mentors and mentees have already conducted the first meeting and submitted the meeting record form. So please remember to fill in the form so that we can keep track of your progress. So our goal for the C.L.I.M.B program is to provide all of our participants with a rewarding experience. We'll try our best to ensure that we create a collaborative and supporting environment for you. And we hope the C.L.I.M.B program can continue to grow and benefit even more TESOL professionals in the future. So next, I will give the floor to our 2 amazing mentors, Christine and Julie, to share their insights and experience on what is a mentor. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Weiyu. That was a great overview of the program. And as Weiyu said, we'll turn it over to Christine, who is going to talk a little bit about her experience and how this program fits into her professional life. So take it away, Christine. Thank you.
Thank you, and happy to be here with you this evening in Dubai, from Dubai. I have to say that, you know, now I feel like an old hand at mentoring, but 15, 20 years ago, I had kind of an old view of what mentoring was. I felt that even though I had areas of expertise, but I didn't really know, for lack of a better term, everything. Because it was my belief that to be a successful mentor, you have to know more than one area. So that's how I started in mentoring. But then one day I was sitting at my desk at Dubai Men's College, and in popped an email from Srasusha McCade. Some of you might know her from TESOL International.
From Thailand. Yeah.
Yeah, she's from Thailand, but she's long worked within the education programs at TESOL International. And her email was an invitation for me to take up a role in TESOL's Leadership Management Certificate Program, giving a session in the LMCP. And guess what the session was on? It was on, no, not mentoring, time management. And literally, I burst out laughing at my desk, and people were looking at me thinking I was crazy, because at that point, I did not think I had good time management skills.
Yeah.
So I thought to myself, I've really fooled her, but I'm going to take up the challenge. So I did the research. I put together a workshop on time management, and lo and behold, I found that according to the literature, I did have pretty good time management habits, but I had a couple of time management flaws, one of which was never being able to say no to anything interesting. And that kind of held me back. But it was my entry into the LMCP, and then my subsequent entry into TESOL's mentoring program called the Leadership Mentoring Program, where I got my first real initiation into mentoring. So I'm going to start with the LMP from TESOL, because that's the one that I have the most experience with. And so far, I've had 4 mentoring relationships within that program with 4 different individuals. One mentoring relationship with a scholar from Russia who was working on her PhD in the US, another from a program director in Peru, a third with Ayman Al-Sheikh, who is well known to everyone. I don't think he's here, but I think he's part of this program. He's based in Qatar.
Here with his heart. He is a wonderful supporter of our
here.
work.
I know that. And then finally, a program, a relationship with a teacher in Mongolia. And that was right before the pandemic. So that kind of didn't go as well as I'd hoped, but it was still an interesting getting to know her. So I've had 4 years with the 4 mentees with the LMP, and they were very, very unique, I think. And how that thing worked was that there was no real orientation to what is mentoring and what you're supposed to do. You go through the awards committee and they pair you up based on what the mentee wants and what they know of the mentors. The mentors don't apply, the mentors are invited. So throughout my 4 mentees with the LMP, I did a conference presentation in 2 countries with Moises from Peru, not only in TESOL Peru, but in TESOL Arabia after he came to Dubai, with my Russian mentee, Alsu, who was doing her PhD with another TESOL president, Luciana de Oliveira. We worked on a number of different things, planning lots of different things. And most recently, Moises and Alsu and myself wrote a book chapter for one of Luciana's edited volumes. So we've just come through that process of putting together a book chapter using a type of research that none of us were familiar with before we got started, and that's narrative inquiry. And that was such an interesting project. And literally, as a mentor, I kind of put the onus on my mentees to drive the relationship. So I am involved as much or as little as they want. And I did the same thing with this invited book chapter. I said, okay, you guys tell me what you need. And literally towards the end, when I came on to add my sections, I literally cried at what they wrote about me. And I thought, are they just trying to flatter me? But then I saw that, because one of the things we did was we kept artifacts. That's a big thing in narrative inquiry, keeping like documents or things that remind you of the relationship. And they both kept a record of all the emails we had sent together from, like 2013. It was really amazing. So it was an amazing experience, the product of that. So literally, we're even though these relationships took place over 10 years ago, we're still developing from those relationships. So now, if our chapter gets accepted in Lou's book, what we're going to be doing now is perhaps putting together a TESOL international proposal on the research. So that was Alsu and Moises. With Ayman was already a very accomplished professional when he got the Leadership Mentoring Award. And he had one single goal for our year of work together, and that was to write a book, to edit a book. And we did, along with Okan, who is here as a guest today. So we did an edited book on professional associations and professional development, and came out in 2018. So what a goal to put forward for a mentoring year. With my other mentee from that era, she wanted to learn more about testing. So I kind of wish that our relationship still existed, but maybe I'm now motivated to give her send her an email and see if she wants to continue working together. That was my LMP experience. Next up came the CPD C.L.I.M.B program, and I've been involved with this program for, I believe, 2 to 3 years. It took me a while to get a mentee in the program. I kind of joined, but then I wasn't so active. One of the things I like about this program is that there's a training element built in. There's videos to watch. There's as much as you want to really do. There's a Google Drive with all kinds of resources. And there is some accountability as well in terms of submitting reports and things like that, which is something that I really like about this program. I'm currently working with a teacher from Ukraine who wants to work more on getting Scopus indexed publications. So that's our goal for the next year or so. Now, my most recent mentoring experience has been with Africa ELTA's Womentorship, which is run by Amira Salama, who is on this call today. And
I've been part of our leadership team before.
Oh, okay, yes. So
And now
that's
she's president of Africa ELTA. Sorry to interrupt, Christine, but I'm so proud of her.
No problem. And her program is wonderful as well.
Yeah.
It's a little bit different. It has, at least I've only had one mentee from Cameroon. So I'm only talking about what I know from a year, but this program has been going on for a few years, I believe. And I was paired up with Yaviri from Cameroon, who is now on a Fulbright T visit to the state. So I'm following her travels in Massachusetts very carefully. And in the Africa ELTA program, what we do is we have one goal, and that's to give a conference presentation. So we take our mentees through the process of coming up with an idea, writing some notes about what would be included, writing a proposal, submitting it to the Africa ELTA conference, and then getting trained along the way, like how to put together a PowerPoint, how to do a presentation, and then having trials, practice runs, etc., and then ultimately presenting at the conference. So that process took about 7 months. and our mentees have just presented their presentations at the Africa ELTA conferences. So those are my 3 experiences. And what I really want to share though with everybody is my question about, you might be asking yourself, can I be a mentor? Well, of course, the answer is yes. You need to think about things that you can do for mentoring. Of course, for me, when I get asked to, well, can you help me with something or can you mentor me? It's always about, maybe some of you already know, it's always about how to write tests. And that's fine. But there are other things besides your areas of expertise that you can focus on, like your hobbies, your passions, any special skills that you have are also up for grabs with mentoring relationships. There are many myths associated with being a mentor, like the ones I had at the beginning. I had to be older, I had to, be like kind of the wise person with my disciples sits, on their knees in front of me, wanting me to bestow knowledge on them. Also, the idea that it has to be a long-term situation is also a myth, because there can be short-term, very successful mentoring experiences, that it has to take a big time commitment. And probably the one that I'd like to really refute is that it has to be a one-way experience with mentor giving to mentee. I really am now of the belief that mentoring is a reciprocal arrangement. And for me, I can showcase that in some of the things that I've gotten out of my mentoring relationships. A book with Ayman and Okan, a book chapter with Alsu and Moises, lots of conference presentations with everybody involved. And I'm even working with another of my former students from years ago. And we're working on giving a featured speech at the upcoming TESOL Arabia conference in about a month's time. And we're even writing a book about the power of public speaking. So these are kind of the experiences I've had. Do I still have a few more minutes, Liz or Julie or
Yes.
Linda?
Yes.
Okay. So I wanted to talk maybe about some of the recommendations I have if you're interested in becoming a mentor. I think one of the first things, and I found that when I read the chapter written by my mentees, Alsu and Moises, one of the things they said they liked about me and my mentoring style was that I humanized myself. I didn't just talk about my accomplishments, I shared with them my failures so that they could learn from things that I didn't necessarily do so well.
Nice.
So I think sharing not only the good things about yourself, but also the things, that you might have failed at in the past. I think making regular appearances is really important. I'd like to hear how other mentees, how they schedule getting in contact with their mentees. As I've said, I leave it to my mentees to contact me. That's worked most of the time, but I've had a couple of people kind of go off the grid and I've never been able to reestablish contact with them. I think it's also important to give balanced feedback. It's like with our students. If we only point out the good things about whatever they're doing, that can set them up for kind of having, overestimated thoughts about their abilities. And although we don't want to give critical feedback in a way to destroy people, I think it's our job as a mentee or as a mentor to give balanced feedback. Asking for something back is really important. And I think, according to the literature, being a mentee, knowing what's happening on the other side of the coin is important. I also think you need to be a positive role model and be credible, basically. Share your experiences. And also part of mentoring, I feel, is especially if you're in a role where you are in a high profile role, it's introducing your mentees to people that they might not ordinarily meet. One of the things that I found successful in my ways of mentoring is, for those of you who know me well, I love travel. So each of my mentees, I have either traveled to TESOL to meet up with, or they have come to TESOL Arabia here in Dubai, or at a different conference like the NATE conference in Russia. And I think when you spend time together in that way, that's not necessarily by email or by Zoom, that also can impact a mentor-mentee relationship. So travel, meetups, even retreats, and that's one thing I'd like to suggest we try, is for the C.L.I.M.B program to have a retreat in some exotic locale somewhere in the summer that maybe a few of us can get to. Just an idea, C.L.I.M.B team. Another idea as well that I think we should, since we've got most of the people here for the LMP, C.L.I.M.B, and Africa ELTA, I think you should start thinking about an edited volume on, you know, adventures in mentoring or that kind of thing. I think that would be, in fact, I don't think I could, after having done a review of the literature on mentoring, I think that's a dearth in the literature. So we need to have some best practice on mentoring shared. That's all I have for you this evening. I'm happy to answer any questions at the end. Great to meet you all.
Thank you so much, Christine. Very insightful, and I love the way you addressed a lot of the myths around what is a mentor, which kind of is what prompted us to have this presentation, because we heard a lot of people say, oh, me, I could not be a mentor. I don't have a PhD, or I don't have 30 years of experience in the field, or I don't have this or that, you know, and it's not about that. And it is really more about your relationship with someone and sharing information. And as you said, the mentors really get as much out of it as the mentees do. That is my experience as well. So I think that you brought up some great points, and I really appreciate that.
Thank you, Linda.
All right, so now we will turn it over to Julie Lake, who will talk a little bit about her experience as a mentor.
Thank you so much, Linda. It's so good to be here with all of you. It's such a great group of professionals. I'm going to try to share my screen and see if I can do a slideshow. Can everybody see that okay?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, okay.
Great. So thank you for inviting me to talk about my experiences, which have been really positive with C.L.I.M.B. I am going to talk a little bit about my experience as a mentor. I want to discuss the benefits for me and my mentees. And then I thought I would highlight some strategies and possible pitfalls to avoid when mentoring. And then at the end, I think we'll have time for Q&A, question and answer. So I wanted to talk a little bit about my background. I've taught in many different settings, so English as a foreign language, English for academic purposes in intensive English programs, and English for specific purposes in a law setting, which is my current position. And I really have a focus on thinking about asset-based approaches to language teaching and how language oppression or linguicism impacts the classroom and student learning. And this is an ongoing process, and I falter and I make mistakes here. And so I want to highlight and shine a light on an important part of my background that we often gloss over or kind of assume, and just acknowledge I am a USer, English is my dominant language. I'm mid-career, I have a PhD, I have a lot of benefits that I need to think of when I go into the mentoring process. And when I mentored, I noticed there were two stages that evolved. So the first stage was defining and working towards goals. And the second stage was maintaining those goals. And my mentees were fantastic. I worked with Rizwana Islam, who's here with us. She's very early for her in Arizona, so she's not going to turn her camera on, but she's here with us. And Prakash Chandra Giri, who's wonderful. They are rock stars in their own rights. They've advanced TESOL pedagogy in their own countries. So for Rizwana, that's Bangladesh. For Prakash, that's Nepal. They've completed higher degrees. And Rizwana is currently in a PhD program at Arizona State, which is something she worked on during our mentorship. process. So let's look a little bit more at stage 1, defining and working towards goals. And so in this process, it was very collaborative. We would meet, I would ask questions, they would ask questions of each other. What are your short-term goals? What are your long-term goals? So we started in June, we got started. In July and August, we set and refined goals. In September and through December, we took actions. January through February, we reassessed those goals. But as you know, this is a cyclical process. So it's not like it happened in July and August that we set goals. We set goals, we took actions, we reassessed, and on, month by month, we looked at what Rezwana and what Prakash really wanted to do, what long-term goals they had, what short-term goals they had, and how they could progress forward. And then in March, we completed the C.L.I.M.B program, and Prakash went and worked with another mentor, and I continued to work with Rezwana. So I consider stage 2 to be really the maintenance phase, maintaining those goals. So Rezwana and I are in a stage where we do more informal check-ins via email, chat, phone. We have some formal meetings when time allows, but she's busy. She's a graduate student doing a whole bunch of stuff. And she has gone through a big transition and she's doing really great. Very, very proud of her. The next thing I want to talk about is the benefits of being a mentor. And I think there are just so many, and I'll just highlight just a few of them. So the first is that I got to learn different approaches to being an academic, to being a professional. It widened my network, but it also expanded my cultural yoke. So that place where we think a certain way, we think things happen a certain way, and then you get to broaden that. I got to engage with incredible colleagues. So they were collaborative and inspiring. And I met many people and I really enjoyed that. I got to give back to the field of TESOL. That's a huge benefit. I went through a PhD program. I had moments when I was very much supported and moments when I wasn't, and I get to give that support that sometimes I didn't get, and that's very rewarding. And then we were also able to complete some joint projects. So basically a year ago in February, Prakash and Rezwana and I co-led a webinar on applying for a higher degree in TESOL, but really they led that, and I sort of stood in the wings and I just asked them questions, and they were the stars of that show. And we also have many common research interests, and we're talking about projects that we want to work on in the future. So these projects are ongoing. There also were benefits for the mentees, and I want to highlight a few of those. So I saw them make new connections and increase their confidence. And I think the biggest job of a mentor is just to say, you're doing great. This is excellent. Keep going. You've got this. And I really saw them increase their confidence. They did several international presentations and publications, and I think they would have done them without me, but I was really happy to be there and watch that process happen. Two incredibly ambitious and smart academics. They got grants and scholarships. So Prakash got a TESOL travel grant. He wasn't able to go because of some visa issues, but hopefully that will happen in the future. Rezwana applied to several PhD programs, got into several, and she got full funding this year for her PhD program. So that's a huge win. They advanced their academic careers. And I wanted to bring a couple of quotes from Rezwana, because she and I were texting and then we had a little chat yesterday about what her experience in C.L.I.M.B was. So I wanted to bring up some of her quotes. So one is that she said, I joined the C.L.I.M.B program at a time when I was going through the biggest transition in my life, applying for a PhD program, and frankly, convincing myself that I can be a deserving candidate. And of course she is, and she was. And so I'm so glad that she was able to have that experience. And then the help I got from the C.L.I.M.B program was related to getting prepared for the PhD application, more organized with my short-term and long-term goals as a professional, and having a more specific purpose. And so this is just about narrowing that focus, narrowing that. I'm going to try to see if I can mute that person. Okay. 1 second. Good. All right. So excellent. So now I wanted to move on to useful strategies, things that I found particularly useful as a mentor. If you decide that you want to go into mentoring, you can take these on if they feel interesting to you. So as we've talked about, C.L.I.M.B is a mentee-driven process. So really asking your mentees, what do you want for your career? What do you want for your academic career, your professional career, and having them drive the process. We also really focused on the goals that we used. So we tried to do SMART goals: specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. We also had note-taking and record-keeping. So just keeping track of where were we, where are we going, what have we done, what do we still need to do? And we did that month to month. So that was very useful. And then I would also say just consider meeting at non-scheduled times for 5 minutes or 10 minutes. It doesn't need to be, okay, I meet you every month and that's it, because sometimes the mentoring happens in the interim, sort of in the in-between moments. And then the last is just create a collegial relationship rather than like a teacher or student one. And it needs to be, as Christine said, beneficial for the mentee and the mentor. The last thing I wanted to talk about are some possible pitfalls. And so these are ones that I've learned from, and I hope that they're useful for all of you. So the first is just to think about the factors that affect the mentor-mentee relationship. And based on those factors, vary your approach. So some of these factors include language background and experience, race, economic position, cultural norms. We are all very different from each other, and I have had to learn how to reflect on my own background in each of these areas and see what I bring and how I can modulate that and learn how to be a little bit different and a little bit looser. Another is just don't skip over the beginning of the process. So don't just jump into what's your goal, but talk about what C.L.I.M.B actually is, what the mentee and the mentor can actually expect from it, what it does and doesn't do, and how do we want to interact with each other. So those are some pitfalls. I thank you all for your time. I think we're going to be doing questions, so I'll stop sharing my screen. It's a great program. I hope you all stay involved, get involved, really consider being a mentor. And I will turn things back over to you, Linda. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Julie. What a great presentation and great insights into how to be a mentor and what the process entails. I really like the way you broke that down. So thanks again to all of our presenters. I would like to just say a quick note about my mentoring together with Afroza Tina, who is from Bangladesh. And when we first started, we were both kind of feeling our way through the process and decided to focus on presenting together. And that grew into a team where we invited others, and we were focused on we went for broke and focused on the big TESOL International and put in a proposal. We had 3 people from Tajikistan, 2 of which are here today, Gulchera and Zibo and Firuz. And then we also had, I think Judith maybe joined us from Kenya. And all together we put in for a panel presentation about career path development focused on individual countries and how that is processed and what opportunities there are for folks and different ways of approaching career path development. And we were all jumping up and down because it was accepted and we're going to present at TESOL on this topic. However, as funding goes, you know how that goes. And unfortunately, a lot of the team are not able to come, but they are going to produce videos. But my mentee from Bangladesh did get funding and she is going to be there with me. So I'm very, very excited to meet her in person and to be able to present together. So wonderful, wonderful things came out of that relationship. And as you all have said, the mentee, it is very mentee driven. And if we step back and let the mentees kind of take it where they want to go, that's what I think is the most important. Yeah. So now, with the time that we have left, I would like to open it up to questions from the audience or comments. I know we have a lot of mentors and mentees out there as well. So if anyone would like to either comment on their relationship, their mentee and mentor experience, or if anyone has any questions for the panelists, I will open it up now.
So I just wanted to say hello to everyone. I'm Rizwana Islam. And I guess after Julie's presentation, the introduction is not necessary anymore. But I just want to say hello to all of you. I'm Rizwana Islam. Currently, I'm a mentee in the C.L.I.M.B program. And I'm in Arizona right now. And yes, it's very early morning. And I'm in my second semester of the PhD program. I'm currently doing my PhD in educational technology. And my current area of research is in virtual reality and how to improve that area or how to integrate other things in that area. With Julie, I have been working for a long time now. And like she said, I joined the C.L.I.M.B program with a very specific goal for applying to my PhD programs. And at that time, when you are at a position in your career which cannot be exactly called mid-career, but it's apparently kind of close to the mid-career position, and you are in your 30s and you are not even sure if you are supposed to do this or not. At that point, I joined C.L.I.M.B program, and that basically gave me the structure I needed. One more thing to add would be, after coming here, even from the professors here, we keep hearing about the importance of having a mentor, someone who is not just helping you with your books and someone who is not just helping with your courses, but someone who is actually helping you with your experiences. And I have to say, Julie has been doing that wonderfully. I mean, there is no other word to describe it. Thank you.
Thank you, Rizwana. Good to hear from you. And great luck on your PhD program. Anyone else like to ask a question or make a comment? Oh, you're muted, Liz.
Abigail has her hand up.
Oh, I didn't see that. Thank you, Abigail.
Hello, everyone. My hand has been pending for quite some time.
Yeah, sorry.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I'm just so happy I attended the session. Actually, I was not careful enough to read the theme of today's presentation. So when our African Elder president told us the session had started and it was about mentorship, I rushed to get connected because last year I was a TESOL career path C.L.I.M.B mentee, and I'm so glad my mentor is here, Ding Fung. And I had one of my best professional experiences with her because she taught me how to do research. I was very, very new in the area, and everything went so easily with her very delicate, but I would say rather strict instructions about how to go about. And what I really liked was the way she taught me how to do literature. I forgot the vocabulary escaping.
Review.
Literature review, yeah. That was something I was learning for the first time because I was really not into research before. So I would just use this opportunity to commend her. She's a wonderful mentor. She's a wonderful person too. And we've been away for quite some time, but I'm sure I'm going to get to her inbox now and we'll continue from there. And we did an exciting research topic about why teachers are reticent to register as members of teacher associations. And I think we have in project to co-write an article about this, which I'm very excited to do with her. So C.L.I.M.B was just a perfect one I had to do to complete my experience as a mentee, because I had also been a mentee with Africa ELTA, and I'm now a mentor. And I can tell you, I'm heading to be a mentor in C.L.I.M.B because I know I've got a complete experience by now.
Beautiful.
So thank you, and hello to everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you,
so
Abigail.
much.
Beautiful.
Thank you, Abigail. That was great. And oh, we have quite a few hands up now. So Abdul, I think you were next.
Hello, can you hear me, please?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much for holding such a great and wonderful program. I really learned a lot of things about a mentor, how to be a good mentor, and about a mentorship. Here, I have got a question that how can we be a successful mentor, and what are the most important characteristic of a good mentor or a successful mentor? Thank you.
That's going to be Weiyu's question. Weiyu, how do you become what is a successful mentor? Weiyu's the expert on mentors now.
No, I think maybe we should let our experienced mentors address this question. Because besides managing the program, I'm actually myself also a mentee. I have a mentor who is Sarah, and she's been doing a wonderful job. And I also have a co-mentee, and we meet almost every month. And then actually this year I'm going to meet my co-mentee face to face. I'm very excited about that.
With AAAL.
Yes.
So quickly, I'm going to answer the question because our time is so short, and we have Marwa and Mispa, and I have a couple of comments. You guys are just, this is so fun. I could go on for 2 or 3 hours if you want to stay. The qualities of a good mentor. And you heard today about many different models for mentoring. Yeah, Christine talked about the TESOL one, and others at Africa ELTA, so on and so on. And I think Julie described one really brilliant one that is a kind of a long-term model, which is so effective. And you heard from Rezwana from her own mouth how valuable it's been for her. The number one quality for me as one of the founders of this whole program, and as I've watched it grow and change, the one quality is that you have to want to do it. You have to want to do it. And it isn't something you do by force or for the money or for the certificate you have to be a person who is flexible and willing. And also, I think particularly for C.L.I.M.B, and this is not true in my experience of other mentoring programs, ours is a highly diverse program. So at the moment, I'm working with 2 different mentees. Last time I worked with 2 more, and Judith is in Kenya, and Erica was in Washington, D.C., Marquita in Baltimore with Clara in Uzbekistan. Jani is from India, but he's living with his children in Portland, Oregon now. Lillian is in Florida. We put people together in a way that ends up being my big thing and my vision for our whole community of practice, that we're a community, that we learn from each other. So it's not just the mentor, as Christine so aptly described. It's not just the mentor giving the truth, the pearls of wisdom. It is the mentees helping each other. It is the mentor with the mentee or 2 mentees or more past mentees. What I see happening is that we really need mentors who love TESOL and are very eager and willing to work with people who are very different from themselves. Julie described in detail, I think, the differences and how valuable that is to think about. Where do I as a mentor fit with this other person, this mentee? So those would be my answers to your good question. Thank you.
Thank you, Liz. And next up, I think, is Marwa. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Hello, everyone. And thanks for this great webinar, or let's say international gathering. And I'm taking the best of this chance to give a shout out to Coombe, my mentor in Africa ELTA research program. And actually, if we're going to imagine like a checklist of what a mentor can be, I think Ocon is covering all of them. So thank you, Ocon. Yeah, and guys, since we were talking about public speaking, I don't know, I've been thinking of TED Talks. How about, you know, having some kind, maybe a program or whatever you're gonna call it, maybe just an umbrella to introduce our experience as TED Talkers, which is a little bit different from public speaking, if you know what I'm talking about. Of course, we have it talks, but what about having it, you know, with a flavor of TESOL, you know, maybe as a kind of introducing new experience.
Oh, Marwa, that's a very cool idea. You need to get that going with your fantastic mentor, Ocon.
All right. This is a great step.
I love it. And I'm ready. I want to do it. We could put it on our
Okay.
website too. We could link it to our really nice website. Thank you. Fantastic.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you, Marwa. That
You're
was
welcome.
great. Great idea. And Misbah.
Good evening, everyone. I'm so happy to be here, and I'm very happy because I've seen somebody there, Christine Coombe, that I've always admired, and working with her. I will use the word secretly because I met her first in 2013 in Cameroon when I just left the training school, attending the Camelta National Congress here in Yaoundé at the University of Ekunu. She gave a presentation and she really inspired me because through her presentation, I had a topic for my MA thesis. She talked on the 10 tips of professional development. And I came up with my topic, the influence of professional development on teachers.
Misbah's muted somehow.
The kids were with her, so maybe they did it. I don't know.
For that inspiration that you gave me. And I've always used her work to carry out my research, even though I've never had the opportunity to be mentored by her, but I think she is my mentor because I use her in another way as a mentor through her work. So it's a good program for me. I've learned a lot, and I wish to find out from her what it really takes for her to become this such a great mentor to so many. And I've heard about her mentees giving some remarkable remarks about her. So thank you.
Thank you, Misbah.
Thanks, Misbah. Christine, did you want to say something or?
Well, you know, I personally think that a key to being good at anything is to love what you do. And I really love what I do. So I think that I'm hoping that transfers over to however I interact with people in the profession. I love Marwa's idea about TikToking, but of course I might need some mentoring on what TikTok is, why I should be using it, and how to do it. So maybe that's a topic for your next C.L.I.M.B meeting. Misbah, you only need to contact me and we can have a more formalized a mentor-mentee relationship. I'd love to hear about how my talk at Camelta way back in like 2012, I think, how that impacted on your master's thesis and your research.
Yeah. Thank you, Christine. I will contact you. Thank you very much.
Great.
Thanks, Christine.
Yeah, one more hand, Aram.
Aram?
Hello, everybody. Good morning, good evening, depending on which side of the world you are today.
Hi there.
Well, it was great to listen to all of the information. It's really, really great. I've been reading for a while, a little bit on mentoring and coaching, because I'm looking to become a mentee myself currently.
Yay.
And yeah, I hope so. But I always am afraid of burdening my mentor with things that they might not be, or I shouldn't involve them in, or I shouldn't burden them with this or that. And so I started looking for coaching or mentoring, and which is better and which is more suitable for me. And if I had to boil it down, I would say a coach is a little bit more like, like at the gym, they give you something to train on, something to exercise on, and then you report back to them. Whereas a mentor is a little bit more softer, relationship-based guidance, tailored for you specifically. But what I can't really get to is, should I be looking for a mentor or should I be looking for a coach more in my early career now?
Yeah.
If you guys could help me with that, I would be very grateful.
Yeah, I'm going to jump in because I've been doing a lot of research lately on coaching because I'm making a presentation with some people at the Portland meetings in TESOL. Coaching is different from mentoring in our C.L.I.M.B context. We are very much shoulder to shoulder, if that visual can help you in C.L.I.M.B. We're together, where in a coaching context, it's as if you're being transported to a new place. So many people hire, and by the way, usually coaching takes money. You pay a coach money, but not always, but mostly coaching comes with a fee, and you have some kind of, I don't know, transporting to a new area. So you're an ESL teacher, you've had it with a classroom, you don't want to teach anymore. You want to go maybe to instructional design, or you want to go into technology, or you want to go into some other field. That would be a coaching context where you would be transported. You take what you have from TESOL, but you would be moving into a completely new identity as a professional. Where mentoring isn't necessarily changing your career. This is me speaking. And I could give you the references because I have been doing research on this topic. We don't often use the correct words, mentor or coach or trainee or educator. These are all different and we shouldn't be mixing them up. I'm learning a lot more, and thanks for that good question.
Oh, thank you very much.
Thank you, Aram, and thank you, Liz. So we have come to the end of our session. It's a little after the hour, but Liz has also offered to hang around for just a little bit longer. So if any of you have any burning questions, we are willing to hear your questions now. But I would like to, before we do that, I would like to thank everyone, all of our attendees. This has been a great session, a lot of nice sharing. And thank you so much to our speakers. Thanks to Liz, to Weiyu, to Christine, to Julie. You've all inspired us to think a little bit deeper about our mentor-mentee relationships. So I really appreciate your time. So I will open it up once again if anyone has a few quick questions. No, okay. Then we will go ahead and sign off. And thanks again to all for being here and sharing this time together with us. And I hope to see a lot of you at TESOL in Portland. Next month, I'm planning a little TESOL CPD get together. For those of you who are presenting, you can contact us or contact me, and I am happy to put you on the schedule as well. We're going to just give each presenter 5 or 10 minutes to talk about their upcoming presentations. So that will be, look for that. We don't have a specific date yet, but it's coming soon. So I will post that to our Facebook page and our TESOL page as soon as possible.
And that's a great opportunity. TESOL International Association Convention is a very expensive and complicated process for our community in TESOL CPD. I invite all of you who, particularly those who are not planning to physically go to Portland to attend the event that Linda just briefly introduced. We've had some very valuable contacts made at these events in the past. We always do a pre-TESOL event, kind of a social event, but we have everyone, as Linda said, describe their presentation. In that way, you can kind of get a better feel, even though you're not attending the TESOL convention. And even if you are, of course, you're welcome. But I want to make a shout out here. This is not just for people who are going to TESOL. In fact, it's quite the opposite. People who are not attending TESOL, and this year there's lots of those people for many reasons. Please join us for this event to get a sense of at least career path development topics at TESOL International Convention face-to-face. Thanks, Linda.
Thank you, Liz. And I put my email in the chat there. So if any of you would like to contact me about that, feel free to do so. Okay, thanks again to all, and we will hopefully see you at our next event.
Bye-bye,
Thank you
everyone.
so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Nice to see you.